All right, everyone, welcome back to more complexity casting action, bringing you HoN Tour Gold Division Winners Bracket Finals here between Duel and FyKu. Duel going into Game 2 now. We do have them up 1-0, looking absolutely fantastic. Booking played an extremely strong hard carry Dark Lady game in the last one. We'll see if they do choose to go with another hard carry, or if they're going to be going for something a little bit different going into Game 2. FyKu looked like they didn't really have an answer. Silhouette didn't live up to their expectations, and the Devourer Jereziah combo simply didn't get enough work done in that early game stage. Will they be able to bring it back to a Game 3? We'll have to find out. Going into this game, we do have blind bans, of course. Keeper of the Forest, Ophelia, being banned here by the Legion team. Tempest and Keeper of the Forest being banned by the Hellborn. So Hellborn, FyKu did play Tempest last time. Going to be banning him this time, though. So interesting. They did go with the Ophelia ban instead of the Tempest, as last game both teams banned Ophelia and Keeper of the Forest. We still won't be seeing those, as Duel did take care of those bans for both teams. Of course, Keeper of the Forest with one of the strongest suicide potentials in the game. Not going to see him, nor the aggressive ganking pushing potential of the jungler Ophelia. Going into the lock pool, first lock coming out of Frozen Goat here for Duel is going to be Aluna, followed very quickly by Bubbles. Pharaoh coming out of Shizor out of FyKu. So a couple of suicides, following up with two more suicides out of Duel. It's going to be Wild Soul as well as Plague Rider. And to finish it off, a little bit of a somewhat off the wall Cthulhuphant being locked by FyKu. Shizor says, oh, well, maybe we'll take that guy in. I, of course, did watch a couple of scrims being played by Domain of Pain and Trademark Esports this morning. DOP actually ran Cthulhuphant with moderate success. They won both games, so it must have been somewhat successful with Cthulhuphant. And, of course, Emperor Brized, one of my co-casters, does love that hero. Loves getting in there with the ganking and tanky presence of that hero. So we'll see if either of these teams does choose to run that. That would, of course, be very, very fun to see. Going into the bans, Frozen Goat does choose to ban Fade, Tundra, and Warbeast, which I believe were some of the same bans from the last time. Fade and Tundra, I know that they were banned as well as Warbeast, but I'm not sure about which team. Fade and Tundra, of course, with their global map presence, their clear vision, able to spot ganks, and they're able to execute ganks much easier because of that. Oh, a Monkey King. And Warbeast, of course, a strong jungler with strong pushing and late game carry potential. Not going to make it his way in again. FyKu bans Magnus as well as Dark Lady Engineer. So banning 3 out of the 5 heroes for the successful Duel team last time. So Duel is going to be forced to change their things up quite a bit. The middle lane has already been banned out, as well as their hard carry, so they're going to have to change it up quite a bit. And they do. With the first ban, Pebbles is going to come in, a hero that was banned last time. Not going to be banned this time, and it will be picked up very, very quickly. With that first pick, the Pebbles will be able to get in there, get his initiation off, get some nice ganks going on, and just do work. We'll see if he's able to get the farm that he needs in the early game to remain relevant into that mid and late game. As you always say, you need the initiation heroes to get very strong farm in the early game. Otherwise, they can become quite irrelevant. On the other side, though, the hero that I was oohing and awing over, Monkey King, is going to come out for FyKu. Of course, one that we don't see too often. Occasionally, you'll see him picked up by Fortune Bakery, but he's a very strong hero. He's got a lot of kill potential and a lot of snowball potential, and he's very hard to gank, an extremely mobile hero. And I'm interested to see how FyKu will, in fact, land him. They pick him up to be laned with Nymphora, I would think, a hero with the ability to land a very strong stun, the sustainability afforded to her by the Grace of the Nymph, able to replenish the mana stores of any ally that she happens to be hanging out with. And, of course, the Volatile Pod to help that HP come up and turns her into a mobile well with the combination of her mana spell. Back on the other side, Duel picks up their next carry. It's going to be Draconis. So we'll see if Booking is as strong with the Dragon as he was with the Dark Lady in the last game, if he's able to get up to that absurd level of farm or not. 10 seconds left here for FyKu, and they actually go with Parasite. So a hero that has not been banned, and he's going to make his way in. The aggressive ganking potential of the Parasite is one that's very, very strong against a hero like Pebbles or Draconis, and of course anything else that's squishy coming out for the Duel team. I'm looking forward to seeing Monkey King and Parasite. That is a ton of aggression coming out for FyKu. Glacius, and now first lockpick is going to be a Luna coming out of Duel. So choosing to go with the double support lineup once again. Last game they had the Engineer as well as Engineer as well as a Luna being run, getting a little bit of farm on both of them. I kind of like that. Being able to split up the support just a little bit more. Both heroes get slightly more farm, maybe even some more levels. And that's it's nice. You lose out maybe on a little bit of initiation, and of course you lose out on a jungler if that's what you choose not to run, which they're not going to be able to run a jungler unless they choose Cthulhu Front here, and I really don't see that working in their lineup as they do actually go with something different. So Duel finishes out with last lockpick going to be Bubbles. KO going to play that hero once again and makes his way into that suicide position. On the other side, we do finish it up with Wild Soul Plague Rider being the two lock picks for the Hellborn team. Wild Soul and Plague Rider, of course, two very strong, two of the strongest, if not the strongest, suicides. If you add in the Keeper of the Forest, and you have the trio of death there, in my opinion. But, of course, very strong. Interesting to see which heroes do run that suicide and which do not. I think that Plague Rider will actually run the short lane solo. Last time that I played against FyKu, they did run a suicide, or excuse me, a short lane solo Plague Rider. And I tell you what, I was playing Suicide Bubbles at that point against the short lane Plague Rider, and I got absolutely demolished. So I know the fear that you should have, as Shizor will in fact be running that Plague Rider, and that is the player that was able to destroy me so. Very demotivating to be killed by a Plague Rider slowly, surely, and just by denies in lane position. But that's what they're going to be doing. Suicide's going to be relegated for the Wild Soul down here. So he does summon Boo Boo and make his way into the lane. Now he's got to get over to that lane very, very quickly, or he might not be able to get the ward off safely. He already might have spotted the bird there. He needs to do a little bit of scouting with the bear before he actually goes in there. And he will try to get that scouting off, but the hero himself is pretty far back, drops the safe ward first. He's going to be able to use that for Rune Vision and hopefully to be able to prevent him from being ganked. But there he gets the Ward of Sight down. Well, I think that will be blocking that camp, but honestly, that's kind of far away from that camp, and I wouldn't be surprised if that does not, in fact, not block it, but we'll see. Boo Boo might be in a little bit of trouble. He's going to take a lot of auto attack damage here. Of course, not able to port back to his master without with taking damage in the last 3 seconds or so, similar to a portal key. That spell is not available. In fact, I'm not even sure. It's been a long time since I played Wild, so I don't know if that spell is even available at level 1. Yeah, it has to be. I don't know why he's still messing around with the Boo Boo, taking a ton of damage. He's trying to get the pull, of course, but he's still just kind of sitting there taking a little bit extra damage, and so now he will get the pull off. The bear is going to be dragging those creeps around. Let's take a look over at Duel's lineup, though. Caillou, of course, playing that Suicide Bubble, so he'll be stacking up against Plague Rider in the top lane. Suicide Plague does have a pretty decent advantage in this matchup with the lane control afforded to him by that Extinguish ability and the presence of, not being ganked by anything that Bubbles can really do. Plague Rider should have a pretty good time up there. We'll see if he's able to get up to like the 300 GPM or whatnot that he was able to push through with me last time that we did in fact meet up in that exactly the same lane. Middle, going to be Pebbles Luna against Monkey King and Nymphora. Now, if you said to me, Beef, hey, which one of these lanes do you think is favored? Then I'd have to say, well, I don't know. Doesn't really matter because there's a Parasite going to be playing here for the Hellborn team, and that's going to be what matters. If the Parasite's able to get in there and instill the fear into the the Legion team, that's going to be all that it takes. They will be playing further back. Monkey King will be able to get in there and get more CS and hopefully even get a gank. His Skeleton King's going to be coming in, drops the lockdown onto Pebbles, starts putting in the auto attacks. The stalagmites do come out for now, as well as the power throw. The potion's going to be applied, canceled immediately by the auto attack from Nymph4. The Grace of the Nymph is out as well, and with that Heavenly Vault, first of many, Casualist is going to fall in favor of Pee-wee on the Monkey King. FyKu already off to a little bit better of a start. Pebbles immediately ports back to the middle lane, and with Monkey King being relatively low on life, he's going to need his bottle to come out, which is in fact already there. He's going to chug that one up and hopefully go bottle up the top rune, which is an illusion. We'll see if he does go grab that, but with the regen from that bottle, going to be very nice. Nymphora makes her way up to get that one, as Monkey King will stay in the middle lane and try to get a little bit more experience. Top lane, Shizar already finishing up that Ring of the Teacher. So he's trying to get into position for the bubbles to put out a little bit of harassment and get the last hits without taking any return fire or drawing the creeps toward him, but continuing to have good lane position. And as he gets higher in levels, once he hits level 5 or so, Bubbles is going to be forced back so far as a result of that level 3 contagion nuke that he's really not going to be able to get anything done in this lane. But Bubbles does pick up his Ring of the Teacher now, which is being flown out to him post haste. Actually, the speed is not being used. Must be on cooldown. Nymphora consumes the illusions, as she's been using those for a little bit of harassment here in the middle lane, but they do fall. Nice deny there. Double hit denies, of course, very important here in the middle lane. Now, bottom lane, Glacius is actually taking a little bit of damage. So, oh. Whew. Okay, so Parasite did go in and grab the last hit onto that Illumina. I saw something out of the corner of my eye when I moved the camera, and I wasn't quite sure what it was. It looked like a power throw. It was kind of odd. But yeah, Luna dies there. The combination of the Monkey King, the Nymphora, as well as the Parasite. Parasite is the one that does take home that kill. Great job here by Pinky Kurdi, actually getting mobility in this lane. I really have to commend him for making his way around. He's going to be stacking here and taking over the next big camp, or a big creep that does spawn. But going into both jungles really does throw your opponent off. You don't know which direction the Parasite is going to be coming from. Monkey King with boots is trying to make his way down to this lane. The stalagmites might come out, but it looks like Monkey King is far enough away, as he does use that Heavenly Vault to actually get over Wanjin Slam, as well as he consumes the regeneration rune that he was bottling up. Are there 2 bottles? No. What the heck? Oh, I think he didn't actually bottle it up. He just picked up the regeneration rune, and Nymphora had the other one. So that makes more sense. That was very confusing to me for a second there. But yeah, Nymph went to go camp the top rune, and then Monkey King vaulted for the one in the bottom and just picked up the regen rather than bottling it up. Nymphora will be taking a trip back to the base, picks up a scroll of teleportation as well as a couple of wards, and will be TPing back out to mid with a newly filled up bottle. Mystic Vestments being picked up, a very nice item to have for the Monkey King. All the damage coming out essentially from the Legion middle up lineup is in fact magic based. Bubbles having a rough time up here as the Suicide in a one-on-one lane. It's a level 6 Plague Rider versus a level 4 Bubbles. Bubbles is in a little bit of trouble. Actually, Monkey King going into Pebbles, who took some damage there, but Monkey King immediately refreshed by that Grace of the Nymph and might take a charge of the bottle as well. Let's take a look at the CS here in the middle lane. Monkey King 15-4 as opposed to the 25-9 for Pebbles. So Pebbles is certainly winning in terms of CS, but Monkey King perhaps winning in terms of gold per minute and experience per minute just because of the kill that they were able to get onto that Pebbles. A little bit of stomp casting coming out of Nymphora as the Zeal Stun does hit. Monkey King wants to go in, but not quite able to get in there. Parasite comes in though, and the Heavenly Vault as well as the elusive dash. Will he be able to get another one? A Wanjin Slam, and down goes Pebbles. The second hit not even needed at that point, and Pebbles goes down for the second time. So Duel losing out here in this middle lane, thanks in large part to the Parasite, who's done a very effective job of roaming and ganking once again, getting in onto the other side of the map here. Didn't even need a creep doesn't have anything really more than what he started with, as he is being ferried out. A full ring of sorcery as well as his boots. Wild Soul goes down. I was just looking at that about 10 seconds ago, but it looks like he is taken out by Calcium as well as Booking. So Glacius and Draconis do team up to bring him down. Parasite with that ring of sorcery and boots is going to go in for another kill perhaps. Monkey King is in position, and with that Chuck being on cooldown once again, here he comes, the leech being applied, the elusive dash into the Wanjin Slam Heavenly Vault, and another Heavenly Vault, and down goes Casualist for the third time here in the middle lane, having a very rough time. Shizor still looking strong in this top lane, 253 GPM, and climbing as opposed to the 100 GPM of FyKu on that Bubbles. Plague Rider just bought something. We'll see what goes on the courier, as he does in fact pick up Steam Boots, and those are going to be flown out to him momentarily. So FyKu looking very good here in this early game. They're certainly losing the bottom lane, the Suicide, with Wild Soul taking a death, but not a huge deal, as Wild Soul is going to be, he already has the levels that he needs to perhaps go farm some Ancients, or at least farm the jungle if that's what he wants to do, but not the largest of deals by any means. Monkey King is invisible, and down here they want to score a kill onto this Glacius, and Glacius might be caught out of position here in just a moment. Yeah, Monkey King's going to find him, and down goes Glacius, the elusive dash followed by the Wanjin Slam and the Heavenly Vault. Monkey King will chug his bottle, activate those Ghost Marches, and head on out of there. Calcium takes a fall for the first time, and Monkey King looking strong, 3-0-2. Talked a little bit about the snowball potential of that hero. He needs to have a good start. He needs to have a good mid-game, and so far he's having a very great early game. We'll see if he can carry it in as he picks up a haste. You know, when I'm playing with my friends, it seems like Monkey King is always hasted. If the heroes in the game always has a haste, but not bad here from Pee-wee. Shizor in the top lane has forced the Bubbles back. He's level 5 now, and Bubbles has picked up red boots, so not bad. Stalagmite's going to miss, as Parasite was trying to come in, used that leech, it looked like. Yeah, it just came off a cooldown there. The face hug even on cooldown as well, so he must have used that at some point. Not quite sure where, but it certainly wasn't on the middle lane. Bubbles in some trouble now, as Plague Rider is going to try to chase him down. The Contagion Nuke, and that's all it takes. That's the power of the Plague Rider right there. That level 4 Contagion Nuke does so much damage. It's going to be 175 plus. No, it's got to be more than 175. That has to be 325 total damage right there. Monkey King does get the kill with the haste rune onto a Luna. FyKu now in the lead, 1-7. Duel finds themselves as they're going in on the Pebbles as well. The Heavenly Vault's the only thing used, but Pebbles still loses a huge majority of his life. Parasite gonna go, and he's gonna finish it off with the face hug leech combination, and down he goes. Whew, Duel looking rough. Wild Soul trying to get a little bit of jungling going on, as he will be stealing some of these creeps. Grabs the Minotaur and standing on the other side here, so he's in a safe position, able to get the last hit on these. No, not quite. Able to get the experience, though, at least. Phase boots are finished up onto Boo Boo, so it's going to be very nice for the bear, able to get a little bit additional mobility. Parasite in a little bit of trouble here in the jungle, as, oh man, he just absolutely exploded the combination coming out of Pebbles, as well as the power throw, Shell Surf, Song of the Sea combination from Bubbles as well, and down goes Pinky Kurdi. So for all the good that he's done, he is going to fall. Monkey King backs off as he picks up a Beast Heart. So going to be getting that Helm of the Black Legion route for Monkey King. Not something you see very often, and for a hero that you don't see too frequently to begin with, saying something that you don't see very often certainly has a little bit more of an impact. Interesting to note that Monkey King has not picked up his Nimbus Cloud just yet, instead opting to max out that Wanjin Slam, or is that the Heavenly Vault first, and then going into 2 points with the Wanjin Slam. We'll see when he does pick up that Nimbus Cloud, just to afford himself an additional mobility and reduction on cooldown for some of his spells. Wild Soul in some trouble as the kelp field already being applied. The Blazing Flight comes in as well, but 3-4 TPs coming in as Nymphora gets there as well. The Zeal Stun does miss, but Glacius is going to fall. Certainly, Monkey King vaulting over Glacius and comes back in to do a little bit more. I have no clue how that hero works. Like, it seems like he just vaulted 4 times there. But I'm pretty sure you're only supposed to be able to do it twice, but... Monkey King, Gnome! I know you don't even work for S2 anymore. I'm still shaking my head at you. Monkey King is going to find a Luna once again. The Zeal Stun comes in, as well as the Contagion, or the Plague Carrier ultimate. Bubbles will fall to the final auto attack from Chorus on the Nymphora. The Plague Carrier actually didn't do any damage as it was take coverage. Casualist pushes down the middle tower, as Legion does get credit for that one. So that's one shining ray, beacon of hope in the middle of all this despair that is FyKu's 6,000 gold lead and 5,000 experience lead. So with that tower kill, they find themselves 1,000 gold less behind, but still very, very behind at this 12 minutes in. Booking on their Draconis, the 700 gold GPM Dark Lady from last game, 300 GPM now on Draconis with the Steam Boots as well as a Life Tube, and probably a Mana Tube to make that Sustainer relatively soon here. It's a little bit unfortunate because the stacks that you really need on Draconis to propel your farm, just like we saw on Dark Lady last game, they're not there this time. A lot of that in part because Wild Soul has been trying to take them. A lot of them in part because Monkey King was in there. He killed one of the stacks. And Parasite, of course, has been stealing some of the creeps as well. So a great job here from FyKu. I feel like they really did get a superior draft to their opponents. And they're looking very strong right now. Monkey King, with his level advantage, does actually level up that Flying Nimbus Cloud at level 8. And he's still able to put out consistent amounts of damage just as a result of the Ghost Marchers and the level advantage. But he's able to pick up that Helm of the Black Legion as well. So in addition to being highly mobile, he's now quite tanky, sitting at about 1,100 life. And with the blocking ability of that Helm of the Black Legion, should be very nice to have. Bubbles continues to struggle up here in the top lane. He's level 6 now, so not doing nearly as bad as he could be, able to get that kelp field that we did see them attempt to gank the Wild Soul with down here in this position. But still just sitting on red boots, power supply, and a Ring of the Teacher. Luna in some trouble in the middle lane as Monkey King is trying to chase her down. The Heavenly Vault being applied, and another one to finish her off. 2 TPs going to be coming in the middle lane. One is canceled, though, as actually the Wild Soul is in a little bit of trouble. But Parasite will try to turn that one around. The bear goes down, and as a result, Wild Soul does as well. Monkey King flying a... Wow, that was not what he intended to do, that's for sure. As he's trying to chase down this Draconis. We'll see if Nymphora can get the body blocks. No, she can't. The Blazing Flight activated, and Dragon goes flying on away. Man, Monkey King was just flying all over the place right there. Not exactly attacking anything, but flying indeed. Kelpfield, as well as the Shell Surf Song of the Sea. Not going to use the Song of the Sea. Breaks the tangle there. And will Parasite be able to escape? He does not have an Infest cooldown for 12 more seconds, but it looks like he's able to get out of there. The Grace of the Nymph, which is level 2, being applied onto Monkey King as she tries to spirit him into the battle. Not quite able to get there in time. Looks like most of the Hellborn team going to choose to retreat for the time being. Monkey King still kind of skulking around, wants to be able to make something happen. His target might be Pebbles, but it looks like he will, in fact, just try to get the farm going here. Interested to see what item he goes for next, whether it's something like a Null Stone, which you'll see every once in a while, or perhaps a Soul's Bulwark to increase that damage, rather than getting the sustainability afforded to him by the more expensive item. Wanjin Slam and a couple of elusive dashes there, as well as a Heavenly Vault. Expending the rest of his mana pool, Monkey King will clean up that creep wave very, very quickly. Drops the Logger's Hatchet and buys something. I didn't quite see what was just purchased there. He will bottle up the Haste Rune, and with that Grace of the Nymph, he's good to go for another gank. Pebbles, Luna, and Bubbles all looking relatively vulnerable in that middle lane. Level 5 Glacius sitting on a bracer, as well as red boots and a power supply. So interesting there that level 5 Glacius is actually relatively farmed. Not farmed enough, perhaps, though, as, well, Monkey King with that haste is trying to chase down Glacius, but the scroll of teleportation will be enough, as he is able to get out of their calcium with a nice juke, is able to secure his safety. As I talked about, hasted Monkey King is hasted always. So he will just keep doing his thing, keeping the camera on him a lot, because similar to a lot of other heroes, he seems to just get kills constantly and immediately. 4-0 and 7 is the score now for Pee-wee on the Monkey King. 400 GPM, looking strong in that respect. 3 players at 100 GPM or less over here for the Legion team. Looks like Duel's in some poverty. Some of their less important players, very, very poor. Both supports at about 100 GPM, and Bubbles just breaking the 100 GPM mark. Plague Rider, of course, doing very, very strong up here in his short lane. Finished up those steam boots to complement the Ring of the Teacher. Now picks up a Blessed Orb, still sitting on 1,500 gold. So looks like he might be making his way toward a sheep stick. Sheep would be very nice to lock down somebody like that, Pebbles or Bubbles, to secure kills onto them. And of course, if they're able to break the Nullstone, which Draconis is working on, about 700 gold away, then it would be great to lock down the Draconis as well. Duel needs to make something happen here, as Draconis is really the only threat. Pebbles is getting there. He's level 10 now. If he's able to get level 11 and that portal key, which he's about 300 gold away from, he might be able to get picks off on maybe the Parasite or maybe the Nymphora. But everybody else is really just too tanky at this point for him to pick off. So if those players play safe, Draconis is going to be the only threat for this Duel team. And even if he's, 500 GPM or higher, gets some of those items, takes it into the late game, there's simply not going to be enough support from around him, because the rest of his team is in such they're in such a state of squalor. It's bad times over there for the Legion. So they need to make something happen. They need to get a kill onto this Monkey King, who does just pick up his second Arcana. He's going to be going for a Hellflower. And that's going to be one way that's going to be very nice to get locked down onto Pebbles. And Draconis, once again, needs to break that Nullstone. So wouldn't be surprised to see a push stick coming out of maybe Parasite or Nymphora at some point here. Something to use on that to break the Nullstone. Draconis does finish up that Nullstone right there as we see it completed. So he's going to be able to farm even faster as a result of that. But as long as the Hellborn team is able to aggressively jungle in their opponents and keep them on their back foot, Draconis is not going to be able to get the farm that he needs. It's a rough situation, being down 9,000 gold and 10,000 experience here at 20 minutes into the game. Plague Rider just continues to farm brutally. This is exactly what happened. Damn it, Shizor. Why are you so good at this short lane, Plague Rider, when you're not being harassed and in a lane that you should win? He is going to be finishing up that sheep stick at about 600 more gold. 22-minute sheep stick or so on a Plague Rider short lane solo. Very nice thing to happen. Pebbles does grab that level 11 as well as a portal key. He's going to go home and pick that one up. And then he's going to try to find Nymphora. He's going to try to find Parasite. Maybe even find Wild Soul out of his bear form. He might be able to pick up a kill on that one. Plague Rider, of course, should be much too tanky to take any damage from that, and Monkey King as well. But maybe Pebbles can start getting some pickoffs, and then they're going to be able to threaten the opposing team long enough for Draconis to start getting a lot of that farm. But that's really, really what Duel needs to do at this point. Vote to pause comes out here for the Hellborn team, so they're going to be needing just a moment. Hope that it doesn't take too long, of course. Monkey King finishing up that Hellflower very soon here. And of course, the Sheepstick will be finished up soon on Plague Rider as well. Wild Soul is going to be working toward that Mock of Brilliance, one would think. Pinky Kurdi on the Parasite with his Ghost Marchers as well as his Ring of Sorcery. He's now sitting on 1,700 gold, so we'll see if he does choose to go for a Codex or perhaps for a Blink Dagger, a Portal Key. Either would be just fine. Nymphora looking strong here on Striders as well as a Power Supply. Getting the ward thing done for her team. Cores is looking great. 145 GPM, so certainly doing better than the other team. Draconis finished up that Nullstone and Pebbles with his Portal Key Steam Boots. Glacius and Aluna just kind of sitting on red boots doing the ward thing. Aluna at least does have that Mystic Vestments, and Glacius with the Power Supply and the Bracer to try to keep him alive. Bubbles, Power Supply, Ring of the Teacher, and red boots trying to make something happen, but not quite able to really get anything. If we take a look at his CS, 16 and 2 as opposed to the 118 and 86 of the other teams. So it's safe to say that Plague Rider absolutely demolished that lane. There was an annihilation up there already in terms of CS. Guys, for anybody that's tuning in just right now, this is Complexity Casting. I'm your casting host, Beef. Thank you for joining me. This is the HoN Tour Gold League. This is the winner's bracket finals. Winner of this game will be going into the grand finals of gold to fight for what I believe is a $1,500 first place prize. I'm actually going to look that up right now while we're talking. Go here onto HoNTour.com, check out the events page, and try to look that up. It's actually not here in this part. We'll go over to the About page, and there we are. Gold first place is actually $1,000. So there you go. $1,000 versus $700 there for the second place team. So that's what they're going to be fighting for. With their placement in this match, they are already guaranteed top 3 and guaranteed $600. So want to win this one, it'll guarantee them at least an additional $100 and the possibility of going up to $1,000. Already both of these teams have qualified for the Diamond Division, guys. So we will be seeing them much more often up there in Diamond. Duel qualifying as well as FyKu, Call It Karma. And there was one more. I'm actually going to look that one up as well. Go back over here to HoNTour.com. Once again, check out the bracket. And it is Shit Happens. Zit is actually the last one. They defeated Sam's Big Boys yesterday. And so they will, in fact, qualify for Diamond. So those are going to be your new teams. Of course, Experience Gaming, Vitriolic Gaming, Fit, as well as, what's the other one? Pencils did drop out of Diamond. Experience Gaming and Fit no longer actually exist. Loto's team from Dota 2, No Tide Hunter, formed the main component of Experience Gaming, and they will be forfeiting from here on out to focus on those ones. And Fit, of course, did disband. So 2 of those teams will be finding themselves into Gold Division next time. Monkey King very close to finishing up that Hellfire. Actually can finish it up at any time here, and he does. Picks up a double damage as well. So when that one gets delivered, expect to see someone die stupidly quickly, and it will be very irritating for all involved. While still trying to get his farm down here in the bottom lane, wants to make his way toward that Mock of Brilliance ASAP. He's only about 4,000 or 400 gold off of the Sword of the High. 4,000, wouldn't that be? Wouldn't that be something? That would be a very, very expensive Mock of Brilliance if he was already at 3,000. Monkey King trying to get over toward that Aluna, but actually Parasite's going to meet him there before he gets toward that Bubbles. He's trying to get in there. Actually, going to try to turn this one around as the kelp field is being applied. TP's coming in. Pebbles does have that portal key up in 1 second. And will he go in? Yes, he will go in. He gets a nice combo off onto Monkey King, as well as the Emerald Lightning coming in. Draconis is coming in, trying to breathe fire onto everybody. The Cataclysmic Assault is active. One more auto attack would have finished off Parasite, but not quite able to. The FyKu out and bouncing around between a couple of people. Draconis is now one hit from death. Glacius has already taken a fall, and Draconis will die there. A nice Heavenly Vault directly on top of that big dragon head. Pebbles wants to go in, and he will land the combo onto Monkey King. Pee-wee going to drop for the first time. 6, 1, and 7. The onslaught streak being ended, and Casualist picks up nearly 500 gold for his troubles. So not a bad way to end that team fight. Losing Draconis as well as Glacius, but they got the kill onto Monkey King. Not a great trade, but you know, getting the kill onto Monkey King is a big deal, certainly. Plague Rider finishes up his sheep stick in the middle of that team fight, and Wild Soul just keeps on farming. He does have enough money for that Sword of the High at this point. If that's what he chooses to build, I would expect him to pick that up very soon here before he dies or something and then loses out on the money. You will go ahead and TP to town, and Sword of the High, and there it is. Picks that one up, gives it to the bear, and says, let's go back to work. Glacier is doing a little bit of stacking here, gets those Ancients back up to triple. And Pebbles as well as Draconis will be able to farm those relatively soon. Draconis sitting on 900 gold. We'll see if he picks up the Mighty Blade to transform into a Shrunken Head at some point, like we see so often from dragons. That, of course, is the build of choice. Nullstone into Shrunken Head for most of them these days. Plague Rider picks up a Bound Eye. Now, interesting to note that utilizing Bound Eye with illusions, the illusions gain the propagation of the Bound Eye reveal as well. So sending those around, you are able to get a little bit more counterwarding done safer, and of course more of it because you're able to spread those out. But Shizor not using it in that way for the time being. Draconis will start working on these Ancients now. And with the addition of those to his pocket, we'll bring home another 1,000 gold or so, pushing him closer to that Shrunken Head if that is what he chooses to go for. Now only about 1,700 gold away from that item. Wild Soul with Striders is making his way very quickly up here to the top lane to continue his farm. Plague Rider still doing a little bit of counter warding. Monkey King with the Hellflower should be able to make something big happen in these team fights. Parasite does pick up that tablet of command that I was talking about. Once they're able to break the Nullstone for Draconis, Monkey King, as well as everyone else, should be able to very, very easily kill or lock down that hero. Nymphora starting to teleport back home. She will be getting into range. Will they go in for a kill here? They're going to find Bubbles, but doesn't look like they're going to be able to lock him down in time. The Legion team had to retreat, not quite able to take that defensive tower down in time, and they will back off. Draconis getting his farm on still. He's sitting at 176 creep kills at 26 minutes into the game. Not too bad. On the other side, Plague Rider very close to leading the way, and also very close to getting 100 denies. That's a big deal. 100 denies, if you're averaging the between ranged and melee creeps, that is effectively denying close to 6,000 experience to the enemy team. And of course, not all those creeps would have had somebody in range to soak up that experience, but just the fact of denying a 6,000, that's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. That's the difference between an 8,000 and a 14,000 gold lead, which is actually what FyKu finds themselves in right now. A 13,000 gold lead, 15,000 experience lead now. Duel in a very deep hole at this point. They want to be able to continue farming out this Draconis. 500 gold from Shrunken Head. If they're able to get a huge team fight, they might be able to equalize that. We saw in the last game, a 5-for-0 genocide does equal roughly 8,000 experience change, and that would put them much, much closer toward their enemies, getting those additional levels, making it a little bit easier in the future. And if they're able to take 2, equalize that, equalize the gold situation, and they might be able to get back into this game. Shrunken Head is finished up there. On to Draconis now. Pebbles picks up a Soul's Bulwark. So he's going to be able to apply a little bit more damage during that combo, and of course some additional pushing power in upcoming pushes for the Legion team. Parasite, of course, with the tablet of command, and now an initial 1,700 gold. We'll see what he chooses to start working on. Perhaps a Hellflower of his own. Would not be surprised to see that one. Monkey King getting to work on the big guy himself, kind of flying around. He can't solo this at this point, so he needs the assistance of this Parasite and this Plague Rider to come down here eventually. And maybe a little bit of miscommunication there, as Monkey King wastes about 30 seconds and half of his life pool doing nothing on Kongor. Now Parasite and Plague Rider do in fact show up. The Cursed Shield is applied to Monkey King, and now he will be able to do a little bit better. Picks up a Shrunken Head as well. So going for a relatively tanky route here with the Monkey King. With that Shrunken Head, there's not going to be a whole lot of ways for the Legion team to deal with him in the middle of those fights. He should be able to secure himself at least 1 or 2 kills in each one of those fights with the 10-second duration Shrunken Head. Wild Soul gets the tank on the Kongor. And with the damage pounding out right now, he will fall, and Monkey King should be able to pick up that token of life. And so he shall. Grace of the Nymph, now level 2 still. Going to be applied onto Monkey King. Give him just a little bit mana so that they might be able to get something happening here. Boo Boo finishes up the Monk of Brilliance, and he's going to be able to start smacking down towers with that big bear paw. Middle tower is the first victim, and what is it? Well, sure, not soon to stop. Doing a little bit more counter warding, as there's only 1 more ward left for the Legion team. That's the disadvantage of having a bound eye on the enemy team for an extended period of time. You lose all semblance of map control, and great job here from FyKu maintaining their lead. Keep on pushing out that golden experience lead slowly but surely. Keep on playing safe, retaining map control, and just keep on pressing toward the enemy base, knocking down towers, knocking down enemy heroes. Make sure you're stealing their farm, managing their resources effectively, and you're able to just slowly inch your way toward victory, which is what they're trying to do. Glacius will drop a Ward of Sight, which will be counter-warded in less than 10 seconds. Actually, Glacius is going to be in some trouble. The face hug comes out right there. Ward of Sight goes down as Shizor takes that one home once again. A little bit interesting to see the face hug from Parasite and then immediately back off. It's not the longest of cooldowns, only about 45 seconds, I believe. If we take a look here, 45 seconds. So not going to be down for too long. In fact, it'll be up in about another 20. But wanted to make sure that he was not going to get initiated on, and so chose to back off safe and sound. And before it teleports a couple players down into this location, perhaps chasing down somebody, but there's nobody really there. Actually, a Luna going in onto the bear as the Emerald Lightning is applied. And the power throw goes out as well, but not quite able to make anything happen. Both portals are being used to get everybody back up here. Monkey King joins the party as well, looking pretty fearsome, to be honest. 31 minutes in with that Hellflower, Vanguard, Shrunken Head, Home of the Black Legion, Shrunken Head, excuse me. Actually, the combination going to come on to Parasite right there. The Shell Surf going to get him pretty low. The power throw finish him off. Shrunken Head activated from Monkey King, and Draconis just absolutely drops right there. The Hellflower being applied, and Monkey King's going to try to run down the rest of this team. Boo Boo leading the charge. He's very low on life, and he will die in 1 hit to this tower. Vaulting across that tower, in fact. And now he's going to turn his attention towards Bubbles, but he will have to back off. Double damager on Monkey King going to wear off in about 2 seconds here. So they're going to try to start putting pressure into this tower and should be able to easily drop it. Boo Boo being resummoned, and that'll go down. Monkey King picks up a few more creep kills and sitting on 500 gold per minute right now. Not too often that you see a Monkey King, not really the hardest of carries, but 7-1-7. With over 200 creep kills, 207 to be exact. Looking fearsome in this game. Able to get the damage done, able to survive with his couple of tanky items. I certainly think that FyKu has a hero that might need to be respect banned going into future games. This Monkey King is fearsome. Might have to introduce him to Cookies on the Fortune Bakery team. Of course, another player that very well known for playing a fantastic Monkey King. Wild Soul doing some offensive jungling here. Going to try to take out every single creep in the Legion jungle at the same time. And looks like he's going to be relatively successful. Boo Boo about to actually fall once again. He's very, very low on life. And I don't know if Boo Boo or Wild Soul actually has the summon up. No, it's 40 seconds off, so he doesn't want to lose that bear just yet. Draconis makes his way into the bottom lane. The Shrunken Head, of course, is finished up, but the Hellflower will mitigate that. Push Staff actually activates the Shrunken Head. The Sheep going to come in, and Phora teleports as well. The Face Hug is here. Monkey King, where is he? Not with them. As actually ports come in, and Draconis with the Shrunken Head will back off. It's unfortunate that Monkey King was not there. He was off picking up a an Assassin's Shroud. So, whew. Stupid amounts of damage coming out on this Monkey King hero. Two-shotting a creep wave, and just turns their attention immediately toward the last outer remaining tower here for the Legion team. That defensive tower will drop very, very quickly, and down it goes. VN Sensation gets the kill onto Wild Soul. Oh, the combo coming out onto the bear. Immediately resummoned, and now with the stalagmites down for a total of 15 more seconds, a lot of pressure going to be put out onto the tower. Boo Boo actually taking a lot of pressure as well. The Cursed Shield is applied. The Volatile Pod not quite going to hit. Dragonfire coming out of Draconis. Who else would be applying Dragonfire? Maybe Pyromancer. But no, it is Draconis. There's no Pyro in this game. Kind of interesting that we don't see Pyro anymore. He was a hero for a long time that was pretty well ingrained into the competitive scene, but not anymore. I haven't seen a Pyro in a very, very long time. Monkey King grabs a regen rune. He's just going to keep on flipping around, doing flips. Parasite finishes up a Storm Spirit, so I like that pickup quite a bit, to be honest. It's going to be very nice if one of their teammates does get initiated on. We'll be able to use that one to spirit them away and hope that they're in position to defend him by the time that he comes down 2.5 seconds later. Or actually 2 seconds now. It has been nerfed a few times in recent months. More triple stacked ancient farming going on by FyKu. Extending that lead, 23,000 gold lead, 21,000 experience lead. Looking absolutely fearsome. And I just really don't know how Duel can come back into this. I understand not wanting to give up, knowing that they won game one in such fearsome fashion. They want to be able to continue with this one, but they are so far behind. Pebbles is trying to save up for something at 1,000 gold. Might be looking to finish up that demonic breastplate, and of course Draconis is here at nearly 3,000, so we'll see if he finishes up a Savage Mace at some point soon. Or possibly choose to go for something else, but looks like they might not have enough time as FyKu starts to push up in the middle lane. Monkey King doing all kinds of flips all the time. Before it cancels up her ultimate there. Looked like she wanted to pour onto somebody out in the open, but chose better at the end. Flag Rider with 3,500 gold will be able to pick up any item of his choosing relatively soon. Maybe something like a Frostfield plate would be relatively nice to have. Boo Boo sitting on a Thunderclaw as well as a Soul's Bulwark now. Looking very, very fearsome. He's going to be knocking down towers so fast at this point. Thunderclaw, of course, with the increased attack speed and that Thunderclaw proc will be doing a fair amount of damage in team fights, bouncing that lightning damage around. And it makes him an even more effective pusher, knocking down creep waves a little bit faster. Combo comes out onto the bear, but Boo Boo with the Cursed Shield is actually, oh my god. Look at how fast these towers are dropping. Boo Boo just going to work. The Emerald Lightning being applied, and he will die to the auto attacks from Draconis, but no, the push stick comes in, the shield being applied, the FyKu out bouncing around. Luna's going to be the first of all from that one most likely, and Draconis is able to get out of there with the Shrunken Head. Kelphield being applied, Storm Spirit onto Plague Rider as well. Pebbles is going to fall though, as Monkey King gets a double tap, picking up both supports. Down the barracks go, dropping in the blink of an eye. Draconis wants to go back in, but with a cooldown on Shrunken Head for another 50 seconds, and Pebbles not quite there to back him up just yet. Thinks better Pebbles goes in for the combo onto Plague Rider, but so tanky. The Shell Surf Song of the Sea is going to come in as well, but Plague Rider is able to be pushed out of there, and he is safe for the time being. Down goes Bubbles. He's in some trouble, and it's Pebbles as Monkey King comes in doing flips all over, and down goes Pebbles, turned into just a pile of rocks. Draconis is now 1-on-4. The everything happens right there. The face hug breaks the null stone. The leech comes in. Monkey King doing more flips, killing more people. Buyback on Draconis, might be able to finish one off here. Gets a kill onto Nymphora with that Dragonfire, and they do manage to save the middle ranged Rax. Before claiming a little bit of delay there. GG coming out of Casualist for the Legion team, so a little bit of dissent maybe. Not quite sure if they want to concede just yet. Refresher Orb picked up onto Plague Rider now. And by all rights, this game should be going to a Game 3. There it is. The vote to concede passes as GG's come out of both teams. And FyKu evens up the series, guys. They take it into a third game. A rubber match to decide who is going to be going on to the Winners Bracket Finals. And who's going to be playing for the first place prize here in HoN Tour Gold. Let's even up that scoreboard. We are now 1-1. We're going to come right back with Game 3, guys. See who takes it. See who's going down to the losers bracket to play tomorrow. You'll have to stick right here. This is Complexity Casting with your casting host, Beef. We'll be right back after a short break. Don't go anywhere.